Meeting to order at 4 p.m. on March 11th, 2024. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Supervisor Evans,
Here.
Councilwoman Cunningham,
Here.
Councilman Malone,
Present.
Councilman Perticone,
Here.
Councilman Weiner,
Here.
Attorney for the town.
Here.
We would now have an update from Labella on the updating our town code.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Wes Petty from Labella Associates. I'm here this afternoon to chat with you about a proposal that we've put together to update the town zoning code.
Can you make sure your mic is on? I'll get close to the mic, please.
Sure thing. Is this on?
I don't know that the sound system is even on.
Is this on? This is not on.
Yeah.
Okay. You're good.
Okay, very good. I'll try to speak closer to the mic. Wes Petty from Labella Associates here to talk with you this afternoon about a proposal to update the town's zoning code. And what I've got here in front of you is a proposal that splits the projects into two phases. Okay, so the zoning code I think was initially adopted around 1977, and there's been sporadic updates here and there. Some, 1980s, 1990s, 2000. And over the course of time, the zoning code has become a little disjointed in places, a little confusing, and without a comprehensive rewrite, there's things that fall through the cracks, or there's outdated policies, and there are conflicting provisions in the zoning code. So the reason why we have a phased approach here is we feel, over the past 2 years, we've been working very closely with town staff, the town attorney, and been working with the planning board, right, and the zoning board of appeals. And we feel that there are things that can be addressed immediately to help the process function a little more smoothly for developers. For example, the site plan review process currently is a 3-step process, and there are many times where, which is what the code prescribes, right, a 3-step process. There are times where the town just, out of function, combines the preliminary and final into one phase. So one of the issues that we would try to address in this phase 1 is an immediate step, is to consolidate the 3-step process into a 1-step process. It's no less protective of your neighborhoods, the environment, and there would still be a seeker review required with a 1-step site plan review process. But that would reduce the amount of time that it takes for an applicant to get through the review process. It's a little more expedient, and it's a little bit more organized. A little less confusing as well as to, well, when are we going to combine the preliminary final? When are we not going to combine? It should be a little more clear. So we also want to streamline the town's special use permit process. There are numerous boards where an applicant may need to present in front of to obtain a special use permit, depending on the type of permit they need, special use permit they need, or where in which zoning district they're located. So we'd like to streamline that so the majority, if not all, special use permits go to the planning board. It's a very planning board centric type of function. And if there's a need, create language where maybe the planning board refers the application to the town board for an opinion or recommendation, so as to not leave you out of the loop if there are certain instances where the town board wants to be kept in the loop in the review. So we want to clarify the roles of the planning board, the zoning board of appeals, and the town board. Currently, there is no field change process, right? Who is authorized to approve a change in a design plan that the planning board has approved? Currently, right now, nobody is, and according to the code. So we want to describe a process whereby an applicant, maybe they don't need to come back to the planning board for a site plan modification, but they can get a simpler administrative review of a field change that is of a magnitude that doesn't warrant pushing that project back to the planning board. Something a little bit smaller, maybe they don't have the exact type of trees that the planning board approved. Maybe it's a different species of trees, maybe the layout of the trees is a little bit different. Or maybe maybe it's a size, a material of a certain pipe that could be modified through a field change process. And then there's conflicting provisions associated only with the operation and administration of the code itself, right? So that's kind of the phase one component that we would envision might take place. We could get started on that immediately, and we would conclude that process, developing that language probably within 2 to 3 months for the town board to adopt, maybe even sooner than that. And the cost of the anticipated cost of that would be a not to exceed fee of $10,000, where we would operate under our existing, or under the fee structure of our existing contract with the town. And so as not to get too wrapped in the weeds around other things, we would limit that to $10,000, okay? The phase two component, this is a little more, the phase of the project that's a little more involved and actually includes participation by the public, okay? Now, one of the best ways to get, to have the public be more accepting of new regulations is have them involved in the development of the policy. So this is where we're going to take a look at your zoning map, right? We're going to maybe take a look at the allowable uses in each zoning district and examine or modify where necessary the density of these uses. Also take a look at access management, off-street parking, housing, short-term rentals, design standards, and other qualitative design elements of the site plan. And the third page in this document really articulates the process that we kind of envision, or we would suggest for the town of Irondequoit to move forward with these more substantive and qualitative elements of the zoning regulation. And that would be a much longer process. It would be about a 12 to 14 month process with a zoning update committee. So we would request, or we would look for the town board to actually select members, maybe a member from the ZBA, maybe from the planning board, maybe from the conservation board, and some people from the public, a business owner, as a zoning update committee that Labella can be responsible to in terms of, here's where we're at in the process, we could use the zoning update committee's help in getting the word out on certain public participation meetings and that sort of thing. So there's more detail specified in this document in the later pages about that particular process, the phase two process, and then the anticipated project cost. And then the last page is kind of the schedule. It's an 11 by 17 sheet that shows that the schedule of about 14 months. And if we get started in June of this year, it could be wrapped up in August of 2025. And we would assist the town with any seeker environmental review involved with the zoning update, as well as the adoption process. So I just wanted to lay this out for you kind of verbally and give you an opportunity to take a look at this proposal. And we're also willing to, at the town board's pleasure, if you would like to separate these out, the phase one and phase two, into two different contracts, we're willing to do that. If you would like to do that, if you want to adjust or look at the phase two in a little more detail and suggest some changes, we can do that. So I guess with that, I'll take any questions if you have any.
Mr. Supervisor, if I may just speak to the procurement process for these particular services, because it is slightly different than the town's traditional procurement as required by Chapter 51 of the Town Code. So here, Labella is the town engineer. There is a contract in place, which Mr. Petty has so graciously included in your materials that he handed out, that goes through kind of what the town engineer's responsibilities are. This is addressed this particular proposal is addressed on page 3 of the contract for work task authorization. Because these are professional services, we've got a contract already. We don't necessarily need to go out for an RFP or publicly bid the work. That second bullet point, for specific projects of limited or comprehensive services, we will need a town board resolution authorizing these additional services in addition to, because they are in addition to the typical town engineer services. So if anyone's got questions about that, I'd be happy to address it, but otherwise I'll let you interact with Mr. Petty.
How does this correlate with the short-term rental things that we were working on or started working on?
Yeah.
Now, are we combining those two things, or is that still a separate?
Well, I think that's a very fair question, and I guess at this point, and it's upon the town's direction, your direction as a board. We're willing to incorporate that into the update, the phase 2 portion of this zoning update, if you want to include it in it, unless you want to address that separately. So,
When was the last time the town kind of had a comprehensive zoning code review?
well, I know the
Does anyone know?
The 2014 comprehensive
14?
plan evaluated the zoning in certain sections and made recommendations with regard to such. But as far as I'm not aware of any comprehensive update or review that has been done to date. That doesn't mean it hasn't been done, but
I think there's been piecemeal things, but there's never been anything really done to look
Yeah.
comprehensively.
yeah. I'll tell you, when I first started working with the town closely about 2 years ago, I had a lot of trouble working with the zoning code and assisting the town staff with suggestions on how to move forward with different projects, whether it be, identification of which yard is the front yard, which yard is the side yard, because there's conflicting provisions there's conflicting definitions in the code, as well as fencing, that sort of thing. There's a lot of work that can be done in the zoning code for improvement.
The other thing that presents us is the opportunity to do new businesses in town and bring in more business revenue. We're looking at our land management, our parking management, looking at incorporating the environmental changes for solar and the other new things that were not subject to code because they didn't exist technology-wise. So I would like to actually fold in to this the best practices for short-term rentals, because that's a new technology that didn't exist. So I think this gives us an opportunity to bring Arundecoit into the current century, and also get rid of things like 3.5-foot fences that no one makes anymore, that wastes our residents' time coming in front of the board to ask for a 4-foot fence. So those are things that we're looking at also.
I have a question for Megan. Megan, when we talk about professional services, obviously LaBelle is a town engineer, right? So right now we have a construction manager on board to take care of the backyard project, Camp Eastman and that. If we were to do another project on site or something could we just roll them into that, or would you have to do an RFP? Or is it just, you know what I'm saying? How would that work?
To give you a precise answer, I would need to know the parameters, really, of the project. I think probably there are some circumstances where it could be a work task authorization, which would be documented, approved by the board, if LaBella were to do additional services. But it's always at the town's discretion. If they don't want to use LaBella for something like that, they can absolutely do an RFP for construction management services, and LaBella could bid on it, but it's at the town board's discretion.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Amy Holland, who wrote about the Arundecoit Public Library Disability Inclusion Initiatives, published recently in the American Libraries magazine. It's Women's History Month, and we are honored and recognize several Arundecoit-owned businesses on International Women's Day, which was March 8th, by handing out flowers to their visiting their spaces. We're having a special market event coming up on March 21st to highlight women-owned businesses. We had the opportunity to meet with and visit the kids at East Ridge High School and also the Rock Science School. And what I learned there is that representation matters. Having kids see people of diverse background working together in government. I've got some great questions from everyone for both Black history and also for science. We're also at East Ridge High School for their Hall of Fame event. I had the distinct honor of inducting Reynald Armand, who enlisted in the Marine Corps at the age of 17 and made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty on August 7th, 2007. Had a great time meeting his mother and his uncle and sharing his experience with them. We're having the solar eclipse coming up next month. As you probably know, Rhinocore will be in the path of totality, meaning from 3:20 to 3:23 p.m., the sun will be completely covered. The community center is partnering with the Helmer Nature Center and is putting on a wonderful event for everyone to enjoy, and we hope to see you there. And with that, I also had a great time at the Helmer Nature Center pancake breakfast along with Legislator Dave Long, and ate a lot of pancakes and sausages. So that was good. And with that, we'll now review the items for the March 19th. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Now for the department head updates. Starting left to right. Mr. Assessor.
Good afternoon, everybody. For the department update, we are processing exemptions that came in as of March 1st. The three ladies in the office are continuing to process those. We're marching towards the 1 May. We have due, it's actually 4 days before, but we have the tentative rule that's out, that's due 4 days before 1 May, that's going to get published on 1 May, and that will then kick off the process by which people will see what their 24 assessments are. They have a chance to grieve, go to a bar, and then we will have the final roll due 1 July, and attend any SCAR meetings after that for folks that want to continue that process. But everything is going smoothly as the status quo, and nothing further to report unless the board has any questions. Over.
Thank you. IT?
Thank you. Currently, IT is just, we're converting the DPW from the on-prem services to the cloud. Looking to finish that up by the end of the week. And also working with the comptroller's office to further integrate the financial system that is now live.
Madam Commissioner?
Yes, thank you. Department of Public Works, we are anticipating all of our residents will receive their brush postcards in the next day or two. So look for that and make sure that you recognize when the date on the postcard is the start date, and it takes us 2 weeks to work through. Always a good reminder. Also in trees, we are about 3/4 of the way through town with the tree trimming work with Flower City. It's going wonderfully. So, yeah, we broke the town into 4 quadrants, and they only have 1 quadrant left. They started in the northwest, and they are down in the southeast now. So that project's going great. We are still also communicating with the utilities and getting our paving plan together for this year. We're also awaiting the final CHIPS program funding and what the town will receive from the state. And the Titus Avenue sidewalk project, which has been in the works for a bit, is out to bid currently. So that is to take the sidewalk by Hudson with in front of the Art Center, DMV Plaza type area, and we're gonna turn that kind of paved area into a formal sidewalk. And we are also in the midst of about to kick off the Seneca Road project reconstruction.
Thank you. Madam Director?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The department has finished its cleanup finally. All our old plans, files were all removed from the department and brought up and filed in the attic, which leaves us room for new projects coming down the line. We've also submitted our required reporting to New York State for 2023. This included receiving approximately 1,300 complaints with both initial inspections and follow-up inspections done. We also issued approximately 500 building permits and have issued anywhere between 700 and 725 certificates of compliance or certificates of occupancy.
Thank you. Madam Director?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The summer activity guide titled Eye on Irondequoit is scheduled to come out approximately May 10th. We are currently collecting and editing submissions for all departments so that town residents will have information on programs and activities being offered June, July, and August of this year. As mentioned earlier, the Women's Business Expo is being held on March 21st in celebration of Women's History Month at the year-round market shed from 4 to 7 p.m. And the Eclipse event that we are working with Helmer Nature Center on the 8th will take place from 1 to 5 o'clock that afternoon. There will be a variety of youth and family-friendly activities, so we're encouraging folks who want to be able to take part in the Eclipse to come down to Helmer that afternoon. Summer camp registration is right around the corner. The 14th, we launch at 10 a.m. for all Irondequoit residents, and non-residents are eligible to register the following week, the 21st. So planning for summer camp is ongoing right now, as well as summer staff recruitment. We do accept summer camp counselors ages 16 and over. So if anybody knows of any folks who would be interested in working the summer at camp, they can contact me directly or fill out the application that is available on the town website. And then just a reminder that our winter market is still taking place the first Thursday of each month from 4 to 7 in the winter market shed, and has been growing each month. So we're really excited about the potential for that program as well.
Thank you very much. Mr. Director?
Thank you. We've been filling positions as fast as we can. You've seen a lot of that activity so far this year. Next up would be the police department. We are canvassing for a couple academy officers, and we're also going to post for an entry-level office clerk this week. So if anybody is interested in that, look for that job posting to come out. Still updating town policies. We have another one coming up this month for approval, and I expect at least a couple more next month. They're just more easily digested piecemeal rather than trying to do our whole manual all at once.
Thank you. Chief Peters?
Yes, sir. We're obviously getting ready for next week. The dogs, our new canine unit starts their DCGS school. They'll be there for minimum of 12 weeks. Be ready to hit the streets back here in June. So hopefully we can get the dogs out in the middle of, at least start of the summer, get some work into them, and then send them back to school in the fall so that they can be certified as nitrate detection dogs. Try to get them out here, obviously seeing them all throughout the town, and I think you've all seen them, and the wonderful, just the wonderful temperament that both dogs have. So, as Jason said, we're trying to look to fill 2 spots for the upcoming recruit class. Hopefully today we're going to be voting on another lateral. So, we're doing our fair share to keep the department fully staffed. Actually making a couple of promotions, getting ready to put somebody into the ATF task force, and also looks like here we might be looking next month to actually promote an investigator. So we're doing quite well. Just getting ready for, all throughout the year of with the 100th anniversary proceedings that we have going on. And like I said, right now we're actually highlighting with Women's History Month, highlighting a lot of the women who started in the department. I think we highlighted last week on social media 2 women who started back in 1977, the 2 first females of the department. So I'll be putting other stuff out for the rest of the month. And that's about it, just highlighting the rest of the women in our department.
Thank you, Chief. We'll now review the agenda items for the March 19th, 2024 regular town board meeting. We'll start with the,
Did you want updates from the clerk?
oh, I'm sorry. Madam Clerk?
As far as the update for the clerk's office, we're excited we filled the clerk 4 position, so we're excited to have him start and move forward, looking forward to training him. We're really busy with taxes, passports, and especially FOIL requests.
Does the court have anything?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. We've been busy at the court. The latest thing that we've been doing at the court is we are handling all the hearings for people who want to dispute the Department of Transportation work zone speeding tickets that they're receiving up on 104. So we found out kind of accidentally that the court was responsible for hearing those disputes, even though the tickets are actually issued by the Department of Transportation and the money is not paid to the court. We're also setting up the electronics to hear the new bus tickets, passing a stop school bus tickets that have been coming slowly in. We've been working with IT because we're having some technical difficulties getting the television set up. We are hopefully going to be hiring a new full-time clerk for Judge Green this afternoon if the board approves that, and we are also in the process of hiring a part-time clerk, which will make us fully staffed as approved by our budget.
Thank you. I think I got everyone now. Madam Attorney, and then the Comptroller.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just a couple updates for you on ongoing litigation. For I-Square, as previously reported, we're at a bit of a standstill right now. Mr. Nolan had fired his attorneys. He can't proceed in court without an attorney. So his attorneys asked the court for permission to withdraw based on the fact that they had been excused by Mr. Nolan. The court did grant that. He has until March 19th to find new counsel. At that point, the litigation will pick back up again. 690 Titus Avenue, that is with regard to the Jeremiahs and the Historic Preservation Commission's landmark designation for that particular property. That is still on hold, pending some settlement talks that I can't get into the specifics about. And then there is an update on the Wade litigation. So this is one that's been pending for a very long time. It is being handled by insurance counsel. An individual named William Van Wade, I believe from Tennessee, filed a lawsuit against dozens of town employees and representatives, claiming that he was injured by a gas leak in his apartment. There's been a lot of procedural challenges to the sufficiency of his complaint with pro se plaintiffs in federal court like this one. The courts tend to be kind of lenient and give the person representing themselves every opportunity to kind of explain their claim so that they're not, prevented from pursuing it just because they don't have a lawyer. But we've finally reached the point that the court granted the motion to dismiss. So that case is over. It is possible that he may file a notice of appeal, which would mean that he would go to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals in New York City. He has 30 days to do so.
When did that court case begin?
2021, maybe?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And now we'll move to Madam Controller.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So our office is prepping for our annual audit, which will begin on March 18th. As Kevin said, we do have our financial system running. Now we are working to consolidate the information from our prior system to the new system. We are planning our 2024 CDBG program year, so applications have been sent out. Those are due on March 22nd. And we have a ban issuance for the DPW garage. The sale for the ban issuance will be on March 28th.
Thank you. We will now review the agenda items for the March 19th, 2024 regular town board meetings. We will start with the financial report. Madam Controller.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I will have 2 reports this month. I will be presenting the final preliminary report for December and then the current for February. So the first report is preliminary 2023 year-end financial results for the town as of February 29th. The 2023 books were open through the end of February to allow for receipt and processing of outstanding commitments and to account for and properly record all 2023 revenue owed to the town. However, the books are now closed. 2023 preliminary results will not be presented again in this forum. Following the annual audit, the town's auditors from Bonadeo Group will present highlights of the audited 2023 financial statements and audit report. Here are the preliminary 2023 year-end financial results as of February 29th. The town's total expenses are slightly higher than budget at 101.1%, a sum of $43,921,000. This amount includes $736,000 of encumbrances. The general fund expenses are below budget at 99.7%, or $27,382,000. The actual expenditures are $27,111,000, or 98.8% of budget, and the remaining 1% is due to $272,000 of encumbrances. Outstanding encumbrances include contracted services for IT and various vehicles and equipment in which delivery has been delayed. Overall, the expenses on the highway funds are higher than budget at 111.7%, a total of $7,302,000. The costs in these funds result from considerable expenses for salt, paving, and fuel as projected. The overage of expenditures is due to increased paving work completed in 2023 and is offset by additional CHIPS funding to be received. The library expenditures total $2,819,000, or 100.8% of budget. Expenses on the sewer fund of $4,198,000 represent 95.7% of budget. The $941,000 of stormwater drainage expenses represent 100% of budget. The general fund has received revenue of $29,001,000, or 109.8% of budget. Real estate taxes total $12,007,000 as budgeted. Payment in lieu of tax revenue equated to $252,000, or 97.7% of budget. Other major revenue recorded or accrued by the town includes sales tax in the amount of $7,091,000, or 124.4% of budget. Aid and incentive to municipality payments of $613,000, 100% of budget. 89.4%, or $595,000 of franchise cable TV revenue, and mortgage tax of $960,000, or 97% of budget. Regarding the entire town, $45,473,000, or 107.4% of revenue and appropriated fund balance is documented. At year-end, the library revenue totals $2,821,000, 100.9% of budget. 110.6%, or $7,223,000 of revenue was recorded by the highway funds. Revenue of $4,362,000, or 99.4%, has been verified by the sewer fund. Stormwater drainage has received $883,000, or 99.4% of its budgeted revenue. This concludes the preliminary 2023 year-end financial report as of February 29th, 2024.
Thank you very much. We have several items for board action at the March 19th meeting. Madam Clerk, could you please read the first item? Correct.
Items for board action. We have, number one, authorizing the appointment to the Deer Management Program Board.
Can I get an explanation?
I'd be happy to jump in here, sure. So the Deer Management Program Board is a creation of the Arundecoit Code. It has to have 3 people on it, and their terms are for a year each. So one person has to be either the supervisor or his designee.
I'm sorry. We have, okay, for board action, we have the, correction, sorry about this. The Community Development Block Grant 03.
So there will be 2 public hearings, as the town clerk correctly pointed out.
Okay.
And there are resolutions directed toward those, so we can handle those first if you want to do that before
Let's handle those
appointments.
first, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
All right.
So public hearings, there are 3. The first one, matter of providing opportunity for public comment on the Arundecoit's Community Development Block Grant Program.
Diana?
Thank you. This public hearing will be held next week to allow the community to come forward and discuss any potential projects that they may have for the upcoming CDBG or Community Development Block Grant Program. The grant program runs from August 1st, 2024 through July 31st, 2025. We are in the development stage, so this public hearing again allows for comment, any potential programs, any information they want to provide, any feedback on current programs that the town is offering, and this will all be taken into consideration in preparing the new plan.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, read the next item.
Number 2, the matter of providing opportunity for public comment on a special use permit for Fifth Frame Brewing Company to operate a restaurant, eating establishment, and drinking establishment with seating for more than 30 patrons on premises 5370 St. Paul Boulevard in a C business district.
Madam Secretary?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and board members. As you recall, last month, this is in regards to a special use permit for the Fifth Frame Brewing at 5370 St. Paul Boulevard to operate a restaurant, drinking establishment with seating for more than 30 patrons on premises 5370 St. Paul Boulevard.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I do have a question. Does that include indoor and outdoor seating, that number 30?
This will just include indoor.
Okay.
Outdoor, they're permitted to have 20 outside, 20 seats outside. Anything over 20 seats would require consent from the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Right, okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Madam Clerk, read the next item.
Number 3, on the matter for providing opportunity for public comment on a conditional special use permit for Scott and Sandy Miller to construct one additional in-law dwelling unit on premises 300 St. Joseph Street in an RR Rural Residential District.
Madam Secretary?
Thank you again. This is a request from Scott and Sandy Miller, who live at 300 St. Joseph Street, are requesting a conditional special use permit to construct a in-law dwelling unit on their premises. This is permitted per a special use permit issued by the town board, and then if it is approved, it has to go to planning board for site plan approval.
Any discussion?
So they already have a freestanding building on their property, or is it conjoined to their house?
They do have, it's a freestanding building, but from what, in discussions with the applicant, they are going to be demoing the freestanding building, constructing a new unit.
And that new unit will house 2 people? 2? So it says to construct 1 additional in-law dwelling unit. Does that mean that we're allowing 2 additional?
Construction of an in-law unit.
Well, it says an additional in-law unit, which implies to me that there's 1 there already.
Is that in the,
And maybe I'm reading that wrong, or legally that is the way you say it, but. What are you reading? So I don't know, I'm reading on our agenda, it says, permit for Scott and Sandy Miller to construct 1 additional in-law dwelling unit.
I think maybe that was a typo in the agenda, the resolution itself. The resolution itself, in fact, just says that it's a 1 in-law dwelling. This is 300 St. Joseph Street, is that right?
I guess we don't, okay, we don't have the, all right, I don't have
So
that.
it might be located in the community development section rather than the public hearing section. And I'd be happy to loan you my copy if you'd like.
I'm sure I
I'm
can
not
find
seeing
it.
that, Peter, I
Given
apologize.
an opportunity to. We have this mega package of Frontier information in here. All right,
If
somebody
somebody
else
from
can
the
go on.
board, if you'd like me to go get an aerial pic from one of my tools, I can do that if the board needs that.
Yeah, so I don't.
Yeah, they had the packet information, it's all on the SharePoint drive as well.
It was
I'm just
provided
pulling up
with
the town code to make sure that, we're saying it correctly.
I don't know where that came from. This is the.
And Peter, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say that it's an additional in-law dwelling unit in addition to the primary residence. But don't, let me pull the code up just to be on the safe side.
That's the way I'm reading it too.
Okay, thank you. Because it's additional to the existing single-family dwelling. Let's see here. So the code states it's 235-8B for under conditional uses in the RR Residential Rural District. D states 1 additional in-law dwelling unit attached or detached, subject to bulk regulations provided in subsections 235-9, 10, and 11. So I think that's what we're interpreting it to be, but I can double check with code if you want me to.
All right, when you put it that, it seemed, I don't know, I'm reading it with emphasis in the wrong place. It's an additional dwelling unit in addition to the dwelling unit that's currently there.
The current primary.
Right. Will we be getting any, I know we're not the planning board where we get an idea of what this is exactly, from a site plan or building plan standpoint.
And I'm sorry.
Will we be getting any,
So those materials were part of the resolution that approved that scheduled the public hearing. We will include them with these as well. I think that they're loose on SharePoint, but maybe just not associated with this particular resolution.
I believe they're under last month's date
I
in
think that's right.
SharePoint.
Yep.
I also do have the referral letter that should have been attached,
all right.
if you want me to read it.
Part of those materials there.
All right, I don't remember seeing it last, but that's my error, so I'm sure, but, no, all right, go ahead. We're fine. I'll look it up,
Okay. Let me know if you don't find it, I'll send it
will.
to you.
certainly.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, read the next item.
Approving a special use permit for 300 St. Joseph Street in the RR Rural Residential District. That would be the resolution associated with the public hearing.
Madam Secretary?
That's the one we were just talking
Okay.
about, sir.
All right. Madam Clerk?
There's 6 appointments. First one
One second,
would,
Madam Clerk. 3PH-2.
along with the second public hearing, there's a resolution approving a special use permit for 5370 St. Paul Boulevard in the C Business District.
Madam Secretary?
This is in relation to the approval of the resolution that will be voted on after the public hearing is held on the 19th.
Okay, Madam Clerk?
There's 6 appointments. The first appointment is authorizing the permanent appointment of a clerk to the town justice.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So after Judge Green was elected to become the 3rd justice in the court, he started looking for a permanent court clerk. He was using Kim Kimball, who was our former deputy clerk. He is asking the board to approve the appointment and hiring of Olivia Phillips. She is currently employed by the district attorney's office and has been so employed for quite some time. Her resume is on file with the Department of HR if any of the board members want to look at her. We would look at it, rather. We would also ask that she be allowed to start employment prior to the board meeting next Tuesday. And I can't remember whether it's provisionally or temporarily. Jason's told me several times, but I can't remember. So we were asking that she be allowed to start on Wednesday, and because her last day at the DA's office is tomorrow. And you have a copy of the resolution, I believe.
Any discussion?
I mean, I don't know, we can't hire before it gets approved by the town board, can we?
Right, so the town board would need to pass a resolution
Before she
authorizing the
starts.
appointment before someone can start. Currently, it's scheduled for next week. It's not slated for consideration today, aside from, this opportunity to workshop it.
Jason?
Yeah, if I may, thank you. The only alternative would be to assign Olivia a temporary appointment with the town, which can be handled administratively through the supervisor's office. And then her permanent appointment would be upon approval by the town board.
And this is slightly different because the judge could determine who his clerk is. The board doesn't get to determine that.
Right, but the board still approves.
You gotta
We don't
approve it.
we don't get to choose, but the board does need to.
Correct, so if we approve it administratively through the office, and then the approval will be, I don't see a reason looking at her resume, and once you see a resume, that it won't go through.
Well, it should have been on today's agenda, then we wouldn't have this issue. She would have gotten hired. So she wants to start tomorrow? Is that what? Or,
Today's Monday.
yeah, but our town board meeting's Tuesday,
Tuesday.
so she wants to start Wednesday,
She wants this Wednesday.
which is tomorrow, which is this Wednesday.
Is there any reason why, can we, 1 second. Okay, any further questions? Madam Clerk, next item.
Authorizing the permanent appointment of a police captain in the Arundecoy Police Department.
Chief Peters.
Yes, sir. This is for the permanent appointment of Captain Andrew Whitaker. He's a 20-year veteran of our department. He's been acting captain, actually in a provisional role. He just got the results back for the civil service testing. He successfully passed his captain's exam, so I'd like to move appointing him permanently.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Authorizing the transfer of a police officer to the Arundecoy Police Department.
Chief Peters.
Yes, sir. We're looking at an individual named Joel Hulme. He's actually works for the Warsaw Police Department right now. He is he did a 5-year veteran of the United States Marine Corps. He retired as a sergeant. And he used his GI Bill to actually put himself through the academy, and he just recently finished his certification through Warsaw PD, and so we did a great background check, and it looks like he'd be an excellent candidate for us.
Thank you. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Authorizing the permanent appointment of a police lieutenant.
Chief Peters.
Yes, sir. This is going to be for Joseph Kuhn. He's been acting temporarily in the police lieutenant role. He's our last of our 3 lieutenants that I would need to make. He's our second platoon. All right. He's our second platoon lieutenant right now. He's also in charge of our motorcycle unit as well as our bow hunt program. And again, he was temporarily in that capacity, and he successfully passed his civil service exam as well. So I'd like to move him forward permanently.
Thank you. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Authorizing the provisional appointment of an office clerk 4 in the Arundecoy Town Clerk's office.
HR. Okay.
In the clerk's office, we'd like to, Chase Stokes is his name. He's, comes with a financial background, and we're excited to have him start if approved.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Authorizing the provisional appointment of, authorizing the permanent appointment of a custodian in the Building Maintenance Department.
HR.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. In the 2024 town budget, we added 2 custodian titles while eliminating the light laborer positions. That exam has since been given, and one of our light laborers took the exam, passed it, and responded to the Canvas letter. He is immediately reachable, and we'd like to appoint Mr. Stephen McDaniels permanently to the title of custodian.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Authorizing a series of balance appropriation transfers within several funds of the 2023 operating budget.
Madam Controller.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is an annual resolution just to get all the accounts balanced out as we end the year. The attachment is not attached. I am still working on that as we just closed the books last week. That will be available before the town board meeting next week.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Authorizing capital lease financing agreement with for the pickup truck for Bureau of Public Works.
Thank you. This resolution goes along with with a resolution that is going to be presented tonight for consideration. The town has received a pickup truck, which was prior, they were prior given approval to purchase on capital lease. I believe that approval was given in 2022. The vehicle has just arrived. So this resolution would be the second part, which would actually authorize the lease to be with J.P. Morgan Equipment Finance.
Thank you. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Authorizing the amendment of the town's personnel policy to include an updated sexual harassment prevention policy.
HR?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is one of the policies we did want to update. The town has adopted the New York State Model Plan, and that was updated near the, in 2023, so it was time for us to update ours to match the model plan.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Authorizing the purchase of CSG cards for all town security and fire panels and associated transfer of funds.
Director IT?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution, currently all our security and fire panels are powered by 2 analog phone lines. This resolution will change out the cards in them so we can either do it via cellular or data. A big driving force of this is Frontier, our current communication provider. The bill, monthly bill is roughly, it's $1,900. This will reduce that bill down to $180 a month. With Frontier also letting us know that all metered lines are going to increase by 40% in the coming months. We're just looking to kind of upgrade them so we can integrate with our current digital systems, and where needed, just supply and power them with cellular.
Will this change any of the functionality?
No.
Any further discussion? Madam Clerk?
Declaring surplus items and authorizing the auction or destruction of said items.
Chief?
There we go. All right, yes, sir. First one is going to be one of our ATVs. It's 24 years old, and at this point, it's becoming irreparable as far as it overheats all the time, and it's really past its useful service. But 24 years, we were able to get that use out of that.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Authorizing 3 officers to attend vehicle crimes investigation course for law enforcement at Saratoga's Sheriff's Department training facility in Ballston Spa, New York.
Chief Peters?
Yes, sir. This is for 3 officers to attend the New York Anti-Car Theft and Fraud Association and Department of Motor Vehicles training for stolen cars. Obviously, we're doing better than we were last year, but countywide, we've had almost 400 stolen cars this year so far. So we want to try and actually get 3 of our officers into this training to hopefully see if we can stem that tide.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Authorizing attendance to the 2024 Dog Control Educational Seminar.
Chief Peters?
Yes, sir. This is to send our animal control officer, Scott Donahue, to the seminar. It's going to be an educational seminar held in Webster, New York. It's going to be a one-day training, and topics are going to include dangerous dogs.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Department of Public Works has two plus a walk-in. First one, authorizing the supervisor to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with East Arundecoit Central School District.
Madam Commissioner.
Yes, thank you. This resolution is just a renewal. We've had a relationship with East Arundecoit School District for many years to provide certain services to their facilities, and we charge them for our time and materials, and they pay us back for it. So it's been we have IMAs with both school districts as well as all the fire districts in town, and it's just good relationships, and glad that we can help each other out through these agreements.
It's a great, I was just going to say, it's a great cost-cutting measure for our districts, and I really appreciate the relationships.
Us too.
Any further discussion? Madam Clerk.
Declaring certain equipment as surplus property.
Madam Commissioner.
Yes, this is a resolution, after a review of the surplus, we saw that one of the, a vehicle that was surplus, and we messed up the VIN number, so we're just correcting that. We want to keep a vehicle and get rid of a different Equinox.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Third item is the walk-in one, authorizing the supervisor to enter into an agreement with Monroe County Division of Social Services and Rochester Works Incorporated.
Madam Director.
Thank you. This resolution would enter into agreement with Rochester Works in partnership and what they call a, it's a job training program. So what they would place us with interested individuals that wanted to learn about, public works and the different jobs that we do. And they would come and learn from us, and then it catapults them into their careers further, so they have a skill set that is marketable. And this is at no cost to the town. Rochester Works pays for them to be here with learning alongside our staff, so we feel like this would be a great opportunity to train the next generation of hopefully individuals that would want to be in the industry of public works, as well as maybe we would also find, good individuals that would want to be for town employees in the future, so.
Thank you. As you know, it's important to raise the next generation, so I think this is a good thing. Any further discussion?
I have a question, Madam Commissioner. Is this like an internship, sounds like to me?
Yes, it is. It's like it's very much like an internship. So yeah, they would come here to learn the trades or different skill sets, and then yes.
So these are paid positions for these individuals or not?
They are paid. We just, as the town, do not pay them. Rochester Works.
Rochester Works pays them, okay. Very good. Is there a time limit or a time frame that they can do this to exceed, or it can go all season? I'm just curious.
I believe it goes all season. It's kind of, when people approach them that they think would be a good fit for us, they showed us their skill set and their resume, and then I think it goes from there on their availability.
Perfect, thank you.
No problem.
Are these going to be like laborers? Is that what they're going to be, like laborers?
They have individuals, I guess, that are interested in all sorts of things, landscaping, laborers, custodial, all sorts of things. They just want to help catapult it. It's based on what the individual, I guess, that approaches Rochester Works, what their interest.
Do they let you know what they pay them? Do you have any idea they all paid the same? Or it depends on what they do?
I do not know that, John. I can find out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just curious.
Of course,
Okay?
yeah. No,
All
that's a
right,
good
thanks.
question. I can find out.
Any further discussion? Madam Clerk?
Recreation has three resolutions. The first one, authorizing the supervisor to enter into a contract with senior golf leagues for the spring-summer 2024.
Madam Director?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution will allow us to move forward with our 2024 55-plus men's and women's golf leagues and enter into contract with Lakeshore Country Club's 9-hole executive course.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Second one is accepting gifts for Arundecoit's Winterfest celebration.
Madam Director.
Thank you, sir. This is our public acknowledgement of all of our fabulous sponsors and donors that contributed to the 2024 Winterfest celebration. We would like to just thank them for their contribution this year.
Any discussion? I do want to say that it was a great success, and again, I think we're the only town without a weather-based Winterfest, so that's a great thing. So keep up the good work and give our regards to your staff. It was a good job.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
The third for recreation is accepting the proposal for sound and lighting services for town special events.
Madam Director?
Thank you. This resolution will allow us to move forward with our contract for sound and lighting for all town special events. We would be moving forward with DCM Productions, which is actually our current contractor for these services, and will extend their contract for the next 3 years. We've been very happy with their service.
We're now moving to items for board action. Madam Clerk, can you read the first item, please?
First item, authorizing appointments to the Deer Management Program Board.
Motion to adopt?
I'll move it.
Second?
Second.
Can I get an explanation?
I'll jump in here since I started to do this before. So the Deer Management Program Board, per the Arundecoit Town Code, requires that there be 3 members, either the supervisor or his designee, the resident who is not a part of the bow hunt program, and then the head of the Conservation Board or her designee. So all the appointments are only a year long. They all expired on December 31st of 2023, so it's time to appoint new members. And we have 3 great candidates. For the supervisor's designee, it would be Carrie Burdick, who currently works in the assessor's office. Gwendolyn Mendez would be the town resident who is not a participant in the bow hunt program, and Krista Greer, who is the chair of the Conservation Board. So it will be those 3 individuals who would serve until December 31st of 2024.
Any questions or comments? With that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, can you read the next item?
Authorizing the closure of Town Hall for the solar eclipse.
So for the solar eclipse, we have essential staff that will be working. Oh, I'm sorry. Motion to adopt?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Now for the explanation. For the solar eclipse, we have essential staff that'll be working, police, DPW, and recreation. Because of the magnitude of the event, what we want to do is close town hall and non-essential staff, and then provide an opportunity for a floating holiday at some point for those that have to work. That night at 7 p.m., court, because of the docket, will still go on, but will be well after the event of 3 o'clock. And then with the restrictions that no more than 10% of a workforce could be gone, or unless you have 4 people, 1/4 of small units can be gone at one time for the floating holiday. So that I think that will be fair to the people who have to work, and also fair to the people who will be stuck with nothing to do because of the shutdown of facilities in the town, being that we're in the middle of totality. Any questions or comments? With that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Authorizing a change to the date for April Town Board Workshop meeting.
And again, because of the eclipse, we have to move the date of the workshop. And we're looking at the following date, but we can work on a date after this to approve. Let me start over again. Motion to adopt? Second?
Sorry.
And this would be because of the eclipse, and we can work on a date after the after this to find a date where all of us can be here for the workshop. Any questions or comments?
I would just like to point out that this resolution actually schedules the workshop for the very next day on
Okay.
April
It's
9th.
the 9th at 4 PM then, right?
Okay, right.
9th at 4 PM, okay.
Thank you. Any other further questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Authorizing changes to the dates for the April Planning Board Workshop and meeting.
Madam Secretary, correction, motion to adopt?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Madam Secretary, can I get an explanation?
Yes, thank you. This is also in addition to the solar eclipse. The planning board workshop falls on the 8th of April as well. And to keep with the meeting dates to be 2 weeks apart, we are moving the workshop date and moving the meeting date, excuse me.
Any questions or comments? With that, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Authorizing the permanent appointment of a Director of Development Services.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Can I get an explanation? HR? Oh, sorry, it's me. So we have a successful interviews for the Director of Development. As you know, it's been, that position has been open for a little bit over 2 years. And we see what has happened without a permanent director there. So we are nominating Bill Lang, who is currently our fire marshal, to the position. And we look forward to some great things from him and the department and how we move forward from here. And his resume is available in HR for anyone to look at it. Any questions or comments?
No, congratulations to Bill. I mean, his hard work has paid off. He's worked real hard in that department. It's good to see him there, and, promoting him is a good move, I think. Bill do real good there. Look forward to it.
Yeah, he did an excellent job in helping reorganize that department and restructure it.
He's been there.
Glad to see he stepped forward and he was selected. Assuming we vote affirmatively.
If there's no more questions or comments, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And congratulations to Bill. He had to leave at hard stop at 5, but I look forward to working with him. Madam Clerk, next item.
Concluding payment of temporary stipends to staff members of the Community Development Department.
HR? Sorry, motion to adopt?
I'll move it.
Second?
Second.
HR, can I get an explanation?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. As you can see from the past resolution, we now have a Director of Developmental Services. Over the course of the vacancy, a lot of those duties were dispersed amongst various employees, and through town board resolution, they each received a stipend for their duties. We'd like to thank those employees for that, but at this time it is not necessary to continue.
Any questions or comments?
No, but I think we should thank the two young ladies back there, Mary and Michelle, too. Thank you. Because I know there was a big undertaking what you guys are doing back there, a lot of responsibility, so thank you for that. Did a good job back there. So we got Bill on now, and I'm certainly sure it'll work out better. But thank you for that. You guys did a good job.
And I do want to point out that they did the director job while performing their own jobs. So I can't, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. And we didn't actually pay them enough, but what they did was huge in keeping everything moving forward.
I echo those sentiments and comments.
Yep, thank you.
Seeing no further questions or comments, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Authorizing capital lease financing of one pickup truck for the Bureau of Public Works.
Motion to adopt?
I'll move it.
Second?
Second.
Can I get an explanation, Madam Controller?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution would authorize the lease of a 2023 Ford pickup truck with J.P. Morgan Equipment Finance. We did send out an RFQ for quotes for the leasing, and J.P. Morgan Finance came in with the better rate. This is part one of the lease. This will authorize the lease, and as we spoke about earlier, next week we will present the resolution to actually execute the lease.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? The resolution is adopted. At this point, I would like to ask if there are any further.
Yeah, I have one question. What are we doing with the clerk for the judge?
If someone would like to make a motion,
That's where I'm right now.
Okay.
Anyone would like to make a motion? Any further motions?
Have a motion?
Okay.
Yeah.
Some,
I guess
second?
Yeah. I just want an explanation. What are we doing?
so we're making an explanation or making a
just need
motion?
someone to move this for tonight.
We're making a motion to
Okay.
adopt.
We're gonna move it to hire her, to approve her. All right, yeah, okay.
All right.
I'll move it.
So do we need to amend the agenda first?
We have to move.
Yes, the agenda will be amended to reflect what happened.
With the new resolution, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's start over again. I make a move to amend the agenda to reflect, in my explanation, the hire of two personnel. I would like to hire the clerk. If we can also make the move to hire Bill Lang also, so we can start.
Bill's all set.
Bill's all set, okay.
Bill's all set.
All right. So to amend the agenda to hire the court clerk.
For Judge Green.
All right.
Okay, I'll move it.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, if we could just have some discussion.
discussion.
I promised Judge Green that I would read a statement that he was prepared to present to the board tonight, but he's in court starting at 5, so this is from Judge Green. Thank you Supervisor Evans, and thank you town board members for hearing me on this resolution to hire Olivia Phillips to be my confidential clerk at the town court. As you are all aware, the court has been significantly short-staffed for approximately 6 months now. We've been missing a confidential judicial clerk as well as 2 part-time clerks. When Ms. Kimball's deputy clerk position was cut late last year, along with one of the part-time clerk positions, I kept Ms. Kimball on as my clerk. When you graciously reinstated Ms. Kimball to the deputy clerk position last month, that renewed the vacancy for a judicial clerk position. In hopeful anticipation of that action by your honorable body, I began seeking recommendations for a clerk in late January. Ms. Phillips came to my attention at the recommendation of several of my former colleagues. I inquired of Ms. Phillips whether she had any interest in the position and asked for her resume, and I was very impressed. Her bachelor's degree in criminal justice is very relevant to the work of our court, as the majority of the cases we handle are criminal cases. Additionally, Ms. Phillips took minors in psychology and leadership studies. She comes to us from the DA's office, where she serves as a paralegal. Her role encompasses, among many other things, excuse me, many of the same functions that the confidential law clerks to our judges perform. I'm so sorry.
You want me to read it?
Here you go.
You want me to finish it?
On a daily basis.
All right, where we go. On a daily basis with court clerks in town and village courts throughout the county to ensure that the courts and the DA's office are on the same page, so to speak, in moving criminal justice cases forward. Judge Whitman DeVoe has had a direct interaction with Ms. Phillips in the role and has repeatedly expressed to me that she was impressed with Ms. Phillips' intelligence and attention to detail. I met, that's it? Okay.
Oh, no, I think.
Oh, this one, right?
Yep.
Okay. I met with Ms. Phillips in early February and was immediately impressed of her intelligence, capabilities, and recognized that she would be a valuable asset to the court of the town and would be able to engage easily in the court with the court staff. Additionally, Ms. Phillips grew up in Arundequoit, and her return here as a professional adult seems fitting. Ms. Phillips also has managerial and professional experience in the years after she finished college and prior to working at the DA's office that made her an ideal candidate for employment here in the town of Arundequoit. Since offering Ms. Phillips a position as my confidential clerk, she has been eager and willing to attend court to observe, and she intends to do it again tonight when we leave here in order to be able to hit the ground running when she is able to start as a town employee. And perhaps more importantly, since people have learned that I am asking for her to become my confidential clerk, I have received messages from several people whose professional experience and opinion I trust, all indicating that Olivia has been a great employee in the DA's office. She has been a valuable asset to them professionally, and that she will quickly become an invaluable member of the town of Arundequoit, and this honorable body adopts the resolution before it, either tonight or the board meeting next week. Thank you for the consideration.
Any further discussions or comments?
Oh, I'm just glad we're doing it this way. This is the right way to do it. I don't want to hire full-time people without board approval. This is the right way to do it. I'm glad we're doing it this way, so I approve of this, that the board should approve before people get hired, absolutely.
Okay, with that, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted, and I look forward to working with her. I now suggest that we move into executive session pursuant Public Officers Law 105 IF for discussion of matters leading, 1F, for discussion of matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation. All in favor?
To go into the...
Motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, and then gavel, all right? John and Peter, second.
And that no business was conducted.
So workshop meeting on March 11th, 2024. Our next meeting is the regular town board meeting on Tuesday, March 19th, 2024 at 7 PM here at the Broderick Room. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in favor?
Second.
All opposed? The meeting is adjourned.